Francesco, welcome. It is my honor tonight to host you and to ask you a couple of questions that we hear our entrepreneurs and founders ask us all the time. So you are a founder, you're an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, you're a philanthropist, you are a sport person, you've been in an athlete and competing in sports for some time already. You've started your business in New York. That's where we're connecting you to. I mean, where you're now at, and you're the best possible person positioned to talk to us about the new trends in artificial intelligence and its applications, because you actually use the power of artificial intelligence to harness solutions, innovations that are good for society and for business. So you see this every day. This is your arena. So we'd like to pick your brains today about what you see happening in the US market, because we don't know. We are from the Western Balkans, and we'd like your perspective on how artificial intelligence is being applied nowadays, what kind of problems it is called to solve, especially in our new normal, and what kind of opportunities the startups have in applying artificial intelligence.
Definitely. Thank you. So do you like me to start and share my experience? Okay.
Please do. Please do.
So a lot of people are familiar with the movie Odyssey 2000, when HAL, the computer, turns against the astronauts. The problem there was the training of the computer, okay? The concept of training an artificial intelligence is very similar to train your children when they go to school. So if you train them in a certain way, they will believe in a certain way, okay? Education is at the base of humanity, but is also the base of machine thinking. AI, artificial, it's a little bit like a shortcut to cut cost and to make things happen when you are not really around. Intelligence is your will to learn something you don't know. You don't measure intelligence by what you know. So when you say, oh, this person is very intelligent because they know everything, it's a wrong assumption. No, this person is very intelligent because they are extremely curious and they are willing to put them on in a position to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes and to create something completely new. Okay? So when you approach artificial intelligence, you have to decide if you want to be an A guy or an I person, right? And I obviously prefer I because it's more challenging, but also it will define more failures from you on a personal level to the company level, organizational level. Learning what you do good, it doesn't help you very much. But learning what you don't do good, it teaches you big lessons. And that goes back to my experience with Judo. The more falls you take, the more you learn from those falls and maybe also from your opponents. And you can never blame your opponents for making your life too difficult. So you gotta be one step ahead. You have to be disciplined, but also very intelligent about how you train. The same thing goes with training the machine, okay? Humans have a tendency to be a little selfish and lazy. So sometimes they train the machine to work less instead of challenging themselves more. So there are two types of companies. There are two types of executives that I deal with. Some are those that live their life to challenge themselves, to improve, and others that they instead try to make their life easier and maybe enjoy life a little bit more than the others, okay? Both have a very valid point, but those that challenge themselves and they challenge the machine and the data and the insights and their team all the time, they obviously strive for higher success rate, and also to establish for more intellectual property. Intellectual starts with I, like intelligence, okay? So intelligence, intellectual properties, all those are generated by your will to put yourself on the market. Because of COVID-19, humans are under a lot of pressure. And we start realizing that humans have big psychological limitations. We get tired, we get discouraged, we get confused. But if we are strong and lucid, we can actually be still creative and find solutions. But if we are under pressure, we can't find solutions. Pressure for people is repetitive tasks that do not actually pick their brain to create something more valuable. So that's where I believe the A and the I can be helpful. A as taking the repetitive tasks away from people and giving it to the machine so that the human can use its intelligence to actually improve the situation. Maybe find a vaccine, maybe find a new way of working, resolving problems in terms of mental health, providing the psychological support to people that are in need, while not doing repetitive tasks. A lot of our work is to build HR digital assistants that have the role to actually assist employees through those difficult times, or simply to resolve bureaucratical issues within the company. Okay?
That's a great explanation to understand what you're doing, what is actually happening in terms of artificial intelligence. Do you have some examples of businesses that sell their applications and solutions in artificial intelligence? Obviously, you talked about Querlo a little bit. What else is out there? What's happening?
Well, out there is a lot of big corporations that are in the space of cognitive services, like IBM, Microsoft, different corporations that obviously provide plugins and solutions from their perspective. There is also a variety of AI companies, smaller AI companies like Querlo, that actually build middleware so that we can integrate those cognitive services in within the needs of a large, medium, or small enterprise without having to depend on the schedule or the speed of execution of a large enterprise like IBM with 500,000 employees, right? So let's talk to other medium, small enterprise in your region. If you're small, you move faster. If you're small, you can be more independent. So you can choose the best applications of the larger corporations to include into your workflow and to provide back to your clients. That's what we do at Querlo. We choose the best NLU, NLP, sentiment, emotion that Watson, Microsoft, Rasa, AWS has to offer. And we provide this independent, technology agnostic support to our clients. We also implement those on top of the enterprise solutions of SAP, Oracle, you name it, Workday, ServiceNow, Salesforce on the other side. All of those companies strive to control the world with one solution they control. But what happens, ironically, the chatbot of a large corporation like SAP most likely is not compatible with an Oracle solution. So you end up implementing 2, 3, 4, 5 different enterprise solutions and 2, 3, 4, 5 different artificial intelligence solutions on top of it. Instead, with an independent work like Querlo does and other companies I'm sure can do in your region, you can actually integrate the best cognitive services of a variety of companies into as many enterprise solutions as you want on the other side. So that has been our work, our karma, is to provide one chatbot that can talk to any enterprise solution so that the employee or the client or the person interacting with that doesn't need to log in and off all those enterprise solutions. They can just use one chatbot, one digital assistant, tailored to their needs, that will find the data in any of those enterprise solutions on the other side. So that this small company called Querlo, but as many other innovation companies in your region, can position itself as a middleware between those giants. Because giants have a problem. They don't communicate as well, and they have their own gigantic interest. Instead, the small little company can actually function as a liaison to make the client live a better life. Now, what are the clients? There are two types of clients, as I described before. Those that want A, those that want I, and those that, actually three, that want a combination of both. The most important thing is to identify a client that has a clear idea what they want to do in cognitive services. I have made a lot of mistakes and wasted a lot of my time coaching, educating large clients on what to do with AI. It's something that a small company can't do. So if you want to be a small company working with the larger enterprises, you have to find the right stakeholder that know what they want. Because if not, you're going to waste too much time. All right. So instead, if you're a small company working with small companies, it's fairly easy. You can find right away a little bit the same path of speed, because most likely the owners or the executives in charge, they will make a decision faster. But if you're small going for big, you gotta be very careful and be very clear. Are you the right person? Do you have a cognitive budget? They look at you as like, what's a cognitive budget? Well, do you have a budget to train your machines? If we build robots, if we give you digital workforce, do you have a budget to train a digital workforce? If they say no, you're better off grabbing a coffee and going and looking for another customer. That's my personal experience. If they say yes, or I want to learn more, then you might want to also get paid to advise them on how to build that process, because it will take between 6 to 12 months to get a customer onboarded.
Francesco, thank you for sharing your pain points and also for highlighting something that is still holds true even these days. So once one of our advisors from Silicon Valley actually said, this is the time of rats and not the times of dinosaurs. And in what you were saying before, it's actually the fact that, you know, the smaller companies are more flexible, more agile, more independent, whereas, you know, the big systems are, you know, don't move anymore. And maybe that's even more true now than earlier on. So how to leverage that advantage is very interesting. Especially as you were saying, you gotta know your customer as best as you can from an inside perspective, so that you can not get into the trap of educating them, but actually delivering the value that you're creating that is a fit to them. So that's the hard part, to always find the niche, right, and get to the few ones that you know, need you without going too broad and wasting too much time. So that's super important.